Happy Monday. It's the start of the work week. I hope everything has gone off to a great start for you this morning. We are currently dry across the valley, no rain chances thus far. We do have some slight showers that we could see, but not everyone will see them, and they're going to be short, sporadic, and they're really just moving from part of the eastern Tennessee area. So they'll start to dissipate by the time they get to us and become less fueled, so to speak. So again, we're expecting to see mostly dry day. However, it is going to be a hot one. You can see this is the western portion of our valley community here, and lots of these folks are going to deal with heat index values up to about 108. There's only a couple counties that are not under this heat advisory, but it's still hot nonetheless, regardless. Expectations for today is probably lower than 108 for some folks. We're looking at 105 forecasted so far. That's what our models have, but some areas tend to trend a little warmer and could reach that 108. But all around, it's a good idea to go ahead and make sure you're hydrating. Hopefully you sent your students to school with a water bottle and some cooling snacks, maybe, like some fruit or something, just to keep them hydrated throughout the day, especially the elementary students that go outside, have recess, and our middle and high school students that may have practice or something that has them outside, like PE or something of that nature. But it's going to be a hot one across the board. We've got this heat advisory going from, this started about 30 or so minutes ago, 10 a.m. today, and then for tomorrow, it'll end at 8 p.m. So warm days ahead. We'll see a cool down on the way soon, but as of right now, it's going to be hot, hot, hot. And you can look and see that warmth across Madison. Wow, it looks hot, This is 565. Traffic's flowing fine. At 10 in the morning, we're almost at 90 ourselves, so it is warm everywhere. Most of us are still in those upper 80s. Athens already climbing into the 90s, but Fort Payne and Winchester being our cooler areas at about 84, Moulton at 85. So we'll continue to warm up and see those low end 90s in the next hour or so. The hottest portion of the day is typically in the afternoons around the 2 to 3 o'clock hour all the way to 4 and 5. Just because you have that daytime heating, the sun's at its highest point around noon. But even though that's at the highest point, you would expect that to be the warmest. It's not exactly the warmest. Think about it the way that you would boil water, for example. Even though the stovetop itself is hot to the touch, that water still has to reach that same temperature to start to boil. So that's kind of the way that takes on daytime heating. When we mention daytime heating, that's typically what we mean. So we start seeing that heat absorbed into the ground and our atmosphere right around noon, 1 o'clock, but it starts to expel when we get closer to the 3 and 4 o'clock hours. Just a little scientific fun fact for you. But hot across the board. That's like the name of the game at this point. We're in the valley and we're kind of used to that at this rate. Like I mentioned, 104 is forecasted for today, but some areas could see 108. Some of our warmer areas, I know typically Athens is typically one of our warmer spots, and Muscle Shoals. So there's a possibility that they could creep closer to 108 between now and tomorrow before, say, Huntsville and even Fort Payne for sure. Our Jackson and DeKalb County folks, yeah, it's going to be tough for you guys to get up to that point. You may be at 102, 103, but for today, we're expecting to see 104 and our high is around 96. Some folks could be well above that. Like I mentioned, we have some warmer folks, warmer communities, and we could also see a good deal of these low end 90s for some of the cooler areas. So keep that in mind as you go about your day. If you are spending time outside or you have something to take care of outside this afternoon, you have some afternoon plans, maybe you're running some errands for the start of the week, keep that in mind as you're running around. It's going to be hot. The moment you step foot outside of your car, you're going to be pouring some sweat by the time you get inside a building. So again, with the expectation for today, dry all around. We'll get to those low in 90s closer to the 1 and 2 o'clock hours. Decent breeze though, about 9 miles per hour. That should be enough to kind of get us by. But you'll notice we do see some itty bitty shower chances. I don't expect them to spread this far. I will say that that's not the expectation. Spreading down to Arab, I don't expect that. I feel like we're going to lose out on some of the fuel for those showers, but we could see some pop-up showers here and there for the eastern communities that will carry on throughout the afternoon and into the evening. So keep that in mind tonight. We also have some oppressive outlooks for the week ahead. And yesterday, I felt like this was going to happen. Yesterday, it was forecasted that Monday and Tuesday were going to be sticky. And I was like, no, it's going to be oppressive. And here it is, yellow across the board, oppressive. So I honestly, personally, feel as though it's miserable right now. But it's oppressive according to the scale, and we'll see that all week long, even as we start to get a slight cool off for the back half of our week with those rain chances. Now, tracking the tropics, Erin is back at a category 4, still making its way through the Atlantic. Hasn't quite taken that northeast shift that we're expecting. As you can see, it's kind of moving slow to that point. There's also a 50% chance of that disturbance behind it developing. Looks like it's trying to take a similar path to Erin. So it'll be interesting to keep up with that and see how that plays out for the next couple of days. Of course, no expectations on our end here in Alabama for any residual effects from it, but coastal folks will deal with some storm surge possibly, and even rip currents, even though we look at the tracks and see that's kind of far from a good deal of those folks on the coast until it gets toward, that looks like Rhode Island. Sorry, it's hard to see the lines of each state. I can only see about up to North Carolina. But lots of times when there's something that powerful in the water, they get the residual effects from the water that's coming off of it. So their shores typically end up dealing with rip currents and stronger churn, really. So yeah, that's the expectation. Looking at our 7 days, Tuesday, I feel as though we may not see any rain chances. I'm going to walk that back, but Wednesday and Thursday, rain chances come back into the mix, and we'll see that continuing through Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Possible storm for Monday. The expected drop for our temperatures, we should get back into those upper 80s and stay there for the next week or so. So it'll feel kind of like a false fall a little bit, especially come next Wednesday with us being at 85. So that'll be interesting to know. We'll also keep you up to date with how far it actually decides to drop. But I know lots of schools are starting their football season this Friday, so keep those ponchos nearby, umbrellas nearby, just in case. We'll walk you through it and let you know the timeline for that as we get closer and models become more consistent on timing with rain chances and how heavy the rain chances will be. But go ahead and be prepared. If you're packing in advance for some of these games, get ready for maybe a tailgate or something, keep that in mind as you pack your reinforcements for your tents or whatever it may be. Go ahead and at least have those on standby, ready to go. So other than that, I hope you have a wonderful Monday, wonderful start to your week, and stay hydrated. Make sure you're using your best judgment as you head outside. If you have any activities outside, I hope you are making sure you're taking breaks in the shade. And I will see you on TVL and today at noon. Have a good one.